Hundreds are dead after a magnitude 7.8 earthquake strikes Turkey and Syria. The U.S. has shot down a suspected Chinese spy balloon. We find out how the situation blew up in a matter of days. A prominent Buddhist leader of Taiwan, founder of Fo Guang Shan Hsing Yun, died at the age of 95. Plus, making the cut, Taiwan's national baseball team unveils its final roster for an upcoming international competition. A warm welcome to TaiwanPlus News. I'm Leslie Liao. Hundreds of people are dead in Turkey after a major earthquake struck the country early Monday morning. The quake knocked down buildings and caused damage in neighboring Syria. Jeremy Olivier has this report.
A castle dating back to the Middle Ages, one of hundreds of buildings destroyed in a powerful 7.8 magnitude earthquake that rocked Turkey on Monday. Over 600 people have been killed in the quake and its aftermath, and the death toll is expected to rise as rescuers continue to pull people from the rubble. The tremor was centered in the southern province of Gaziantep, but its impact was felt across the country and surrounding region. Aftershocks have also continued to rock the area, including one with a magnitude of 6.7. Turkey's government says it has dispatched rescue teams to deal with the mounting casualties.
Şu anda bütün valilerimiz görevlerinin başında, jandarma, emniyet, Türk Silahlı Kuvvetleri, AFAD ekiplerimiz, Kızılay ekiplerimiz ve şu anda Türkiye'nin birçok noktasından arama kurtarma ekipleri ilgili bölgelere.
The tremor also affected northwest Syria, where rescuers pulled people from collapsed buildings. The hardest hit areas are mainly rebel-held territories that rely on Turkey for aid. As the initial shock of the earthquake starts to subside, Turkish rescue teams and civilians are now racing against the clock to try to find and save survivors of this devastating event. Howard Zhang and Jeremy Olivier for TaiwanPlus.
China says that a second weather balloon that was spotted in Latin America is for civilian purposes. That's after the country fired its top weather official. China's foreign ministry announced that Zhuang Guotai, who was head of the China Meteorological Administration, was let go after the U.S. shot down one of its weather balloons on Saturday. China says that the balloon was not a spying device and that it had been blown off course by strong winds. The U.S. military later said it was searching for remnants of the device in waters off the coast of South Carolina. Chinese officials have described their response from the U.S. as a, quote, overreaction. For more on the aftermath of the Chinese spy balloon in the U.S., our reporter Jaime Okan spoke to William Kim, a defense consultant with the Marathon Initiative in Washington, D.C.
Why did it take this long for the United States to shoot down this balloon?
It took long because officials did not want to down this balloon over a populated area. I mean, this was a very large payload on the balloon. It was size something like 3 buses. You also have to consider, if you're using a missile, like there's debris and stuff from that as well. So they did not judge the kind of the threat of the balloon to be worth the risk that you blow it up. And even over Montana, it's like it's maybe less densely populated, but there's still people. There's still a non-zero chance that it like lands on somebody's house or something like that. So that's really in the short answer why they waited until it was over water before shooting it. Now, once they did decide to shoot it, they actually managed to do it very quickly. I was somewhat surprised by this. This time they used a missile, which clearly got the job done a lot faster. And there is I had some questions about whether these missiles, the missile guidance would work against, these balloons. They're not designed for that. They're designed for much faster targets. This is very slow. It can look at slow countermeasures that aircraft deploy. So chaff flares that they're supposed to not hit. But at least when it comes to this missile, it did take it out.
There are reports that defense officials knew about the balloon since around January 28th. What should the U.S. do to prevent situations like this one from happening again?
the reporting is that the president did not know about this until Wednesday, by which time would already be over land. And the president did want to shoot it down initially, but then didn't, but was told, about the debris risk and then decided to wait until afterwards. But in terms of why it wasn't kind of shot down earlier, I mean, it from a lot of the reporting, this stuff has happened before. It's happened, last year. It's happened under the previous administration, possibly even before that. So it seems that the standard practice is just not to shoot these things down. And one thing, yes, it is. You can talk about kind of the violation of U.S. airspace, and they're not supposed to be there. And yeah, if they sent like a plane over, the U.S. would not tolerate that. And when like Russian planes fly near Alaska, they get intercepted by U.S. fighter aircraft. But I think part of the issue there is just that the U.S. again needs a more cost-effective way of shooting down these balloons as compared to using an F-22, firing a missile that costs $470,000. In this case, I think those is a favorable exchange. This balloon looked pretty big and pretty expensive. But in the future, you could be dealing with much smaller payloads, and they're not always going to be these multi-million-dollar big sensor packages, or they could potentially be decoys in the future. So this is why I think the U.S. is going to need some sort of whether that be directed energy or a cheaper missile or something that where they can do this regularly and not end up breaking the bank.
That was William Kim, a defense consultant with the Marathon Initiative in Washington, D.C., speaking to our reporter Jaime Okan. The vice chair of Taiwan's main opposition party is set to travel to China on Wednesday. Andrew Xia of the Kuomintang, or KMT, is going to meet with Taiwanese business people and students living in China. He will also meet with the new head of China's Taiwan Affairs Office, Song Tao. The KMT says the two will discuss Taiwan's concerns about cross-strait security and look for ways to increase economic cooperation. It will be Xia's second trip to China in less than a year. He also visited last August. A multi-party delegation of Swiss lawmakers has arrived in Taiwan for a 6-day visit. The 5 delegates met with President Hsing Yun on Monday. The group called for an economic partnership agreement between Taiwan and Switzerland. They also said they want Switzerland to use its influence to back Taiwan's participation in global organizations like the WHO. Taiwanese manufacturing giant Foxconn reported record revenue in January. The world's main manufacturer of Apple iPhones says it made $22 billion last month. That was a jump of more than 48% from the same time last year. The data came as operations at the company's phone-making facilities in China returned to normal. In November, over 20,000 employees fled Foxconn's facility in Zhengzhou in central China after the implementation of strict zero-COVID restrictions. A prominent figure of Taiwan's Buddhist community has died at the age of 95. The religious leader founded one of the most influential Buddhist organizations in Taiwan and established temples and educational institutes. But aside from his contributions to Buddhism, he was also known for his overt political stance. Eric Gao has more.
A long queue outside the Fo Guang Shan Monastery in Kaohsiung. These mourners are waiting to pay tribute to one of the most influential religious figures in Taiwan, Buddhist Master Hsing Yun, who died at the age of 95 on Sunday.
我们众弟子的念佛声中安详的事迹。那么我们非常感念我们的师父上人，这么样子疼爱我们，也疼爱所有的众生。
Hsing Yun founded Fo Guang Shan in 1967 and went on to establish more than 300 temples and 16 educational institutes worldwide. He was also the first Buddhist master to pioneer TV missionary work, but his influence has spread beyond the Buddhist community. Hsing Yun once met with Pope John Paul II about working together for charity. His life's goal? Promoting humanistic Buddhism and peace.
要倡导这个世界的和平呢，人民的安乐，消除这个种族的隔阂，消除这个国家的界限。
Hsing Yun was born in China and became a monk when he was 12 years old. He came to Taiwan in 1949 at the end of the Chinese Civil War. Having lived in China during his early years, he was never shy about his stance on cross-strait issues. Nicknamed the political monk, Hsing Yun openly objected to Taiwan independence and once met with Chinese leader Xi Jinping. But Hsing Yun said he wasn't biased. In 2015, he gave encouragement to presidential candidates from both of Taiwan's main parties. But whatever political stance Hsing Yun took, most would agree that he made a great contribution to the world. And politicians of all stripes have lined up alongside the public to offer their tribute.
星云法师呢，实际上是我很尊重的我们佛教界的领袖，而且这个佛光这个国际的佛光会呢，实际上做了很多人道救援的工作。
他其实对宗教界是蛮有贡献的啦，
会给我们很多的机会可以来到这里。
Hsing Yun's funeral will be as simple as possible, as he wished. All flowers will be turned away, and no funeral committee will be set up. For those who want to remember the religious leader, Fo Guang Shan will open for a basic memorial service next Monday. Damon Lin, Eugene Huang, and Eric Gao for TaiwanPlus.
The mayor of Kaohsiung in southern Taiwan has warned of severe water shortages in upcoming months.
我们的出水量、供水量大概是大概140到150在2月、3月我们可能就会让这个水情能够会面临更大的一个挑战。
Rainfall in Taiwan's southern regions reached a 30-year low last year. Nanhua Reservoir, which provides the majority of Kaohsiung's water, is currently at 64% capacity. And water flow in Gaoping, Taiwan's second major river, reached a 23-year low at the end of January. At the same time, industrial water use in the south is increasing yearly. That's putting pressure on the area's resources. The government is urging farmers and members of the public to reduce their water use. Efforts to alleviate the crisis have begun. Those include construction of wells, water recycling programs, and cloud seeding. Coming up after the break.
The Taiwan Lantern Festival has just kicked off. I'm here at Sun Memorial Hall to find out more. I'm Adeline.
Bethany. Joanna. Elizabeth. Lydia.
Yara. Sophia.
1, 2, 3, explore Taiwan! All right, here we are. This is our first time to see this deer. Oh wow, this is the flavor of Taiwan. Come explore Taiwan.
Mommy and Olivia riding the bicycle in Turtle Island.
7 Sisters Explore Taiwan. Every Tuesday, 8 p.m. on TaiwanPlus.
Thank you for watching Taiwan Plus. For more great news from Taiwan and around the world, visit TaiwanPlus.com and download the app.
Welcome back. You're watching Taiwan Plus News. For a lot of people, the past weekend went by faster than usual. That's because Saturday was a makeup day, when Taiwan makes up for long weekend vacations by sending workers back to work and children to school. But campaigners say 6 straight days in class can be too much for kids. Stash Butler brings us this report.
School on a Saturday. Taiwanese children were in class this weekend for the second of the country's 6 makeup days. This time they're making up for time off over the Lunar New Year. In 2023, people in Taiwan will enjoy 17 days of public holiday. But they also have to make up for 6 of those days by either going to school or working on a Saturday. That's the most make-up days Taiwan has had for at least 8 years. The idea of paying back your vacation on 2 Saturdays like these 2 this month may seem strange, but for Taiwanese school kids and their parents, it's already a normal part of life. In 2006, Taiwan changed its calendars. From then on, every time a public holiday falls on a Tuesday or a Thursday, the government creates a 4-day weekend by making the Monday or Friday a holiday too. They do that by essentially taking time off from the Saturday before. So, for a Thursday public holiday, that Saturday's break moves to the Friday after. creating a one-day weekend followed by a 4-day weekend. It's a system which has its supporters.
可以比较有完整的假期，就会觉得这个挪动跟牺牲是可以接受的。
也比较好安排活动。那一天补课，我相信不会对小孩造成太大负担。
But some education groups disagree.
补课的效果其实是不太好的，因为大部分补课的上课的时候都是上一些比较没有那么重要的课程，大家的状态也不是很好。
Campaigners say Taiwan should stop borrowing holidays to create long weekends, except for important days like the Mid-Autumn Festival. The government says it's willing to consider the idea. But any changes would take time, and for this year at least, the holiday dates are already set. So for Taiwan's school kids and workers alike, it's 2 Saturdays down, 4 to go. Easton Chen and Stash Butler in Taipei for TaiwanPlus.
Taiwan's Lantern Festival marks the last day of the Lunar New Year holiday. This year, the festival returned to Taipei for the first time in over 2 decades. Our reporter Yvonne Yang was there to take in the sights and sounds of this year's event.
The Taiwan Lantern Festival is back in the capital city, Taipei, for the first time in 23 years. This year's event runs until February 19th. There are over 300 light installations across all districts of the city. And you're probably wondering why I'm surrounded by carrots. That's because this year is the year of the rabbits. The Lantern Festival takes place on the first full moon of the Lunar New Year. This year's is one of the first large-scale events to be held in Taiwan since COVID-19 border controls were relaxed late last year. There are 4 major lantern display zones in the busiest districts of Taipei, and people have come from far and wide to view the exhibits. Which one have stood out the most?
刚刚走到那个生肖那附近的那个地方，看到那个兔子啊做的那个5G 的那个火箭。
我们最主要是来看主灯，那感觉很漂亮，也很壮观。小朋友也第一次搭捷运，一切都很新奇。
The main one, it's pretty impressive, like the robot with a bunny inside.
I'll be from the main lantern at Sun Yat-sen Memorial Hall. As you can see, it's a 22-meter-tall astronaut robot rabbit. Although it's raining today, you can see people are still gathering around, waiting to see the main lantern get lit up for the very first time for the general public. Let's take a look. The lantern was designed by artist Akiba Lee. Using motion capture technology, it displays the facial expressions of Taiwan's Olympic weightlifting gold medalist Kaohsiung and includes music by award-winning producer Chen Jianqi. The exhibit's light show plays every 30 minutes from 6 to 9:30 p.m. There are also stage performances in each display zone, with performers coming from both across Taiwan and abroad. And here in Taipei, it's fair to say the Lantern Festival is well and truly back to its pre-pandemic spectacle. Andy Xie and Yvonne Yang for TaiwanPlus.
In addition to lanterns lighting up the city, no celebration is complete without special foods that are brought out to mark the season. And in Taiwan, that's yuanxiao. Our reporter Sandy Chi was out to get a taste of these traditional snacks.
Here I am at Hsing 1947, one of the well-known snack shops in one of the oldest districts in Taipei. And today I'm getting ready to make one of the iconic desserts, yuanxiao.
Rolling these glutinous rice dumplings in a bamboo sieve, you can almost smell their sweetness. Yuanxiao are a traditional snack served during the Lantern Festival, a celebration that falls on the 15th day of the year's first lunar month. They're filled with black sesame, peanut butter, sweet red bean, or osmanthus flour pastes. These are the traditional flavors here in Taiwan.
The round shape symbolizes unity and wholeness within the family, and the first full moon of a prosperous new year.
It's said these snacks can be traced back to over 1,000 years to the Song dynasty in China.
过完元宵节才会真正的过完这个年，那吃个点心，吃个甜的，让大家可以再沾沾喜气，吃甜的过好年。我们就是纯手工去制作，说年轻人比较喜欢花俏的感觉，然后所以我们现在就是在 用不同的米去做元宵它外层的那个呈现出来，让它变比较再更漂亮一点。
Other than the traditional fillings, Jun's shop also provides her customers with new flavors. She makes them to suit the different tastes of each generation.
会针对小朋友会做一些特别的口味，比如说会有巧克力啊跟水果的。那如果针对大人的话，就会另外做咖啡或是抹茶的口味这样子。
But according to Jun, the traditional flavors are still the most popular. While the snacks are being sold, some parents take the opportunity to teach their kids about the history of the festival.
为什么会带小孩来这里？是因为元宵节到了，那小孩子就是没有庆祝过元宵，因为他们小。那我想说，要让他们知道，就是说元宵的意思，然后让他们来吃元宵，然后就是过一下那种传统的元宵的节庆的氛围。
我现在在吃元宵，很好吃。
Though not everyone might know the tradition of this dessert, they've won over the taste buds of many customers from both Taiwan and abroad.
I think my favorite would be the black sesame. It was very sweet, and I like sweet stuff, so it's one of my favorites. And I would say I would rate it like 8.5 out of 10. I would say.
The Lantern Festival isn't a public holiday in Taiwan, but friends and family still gather together to enjoy these yuan xiao. It is said by eating them, it will bring us prosperity and good luck in the coming year.
Howard Zhang and Sandy Chi for TaiwanPlus.
Taipei set up its first park especially for dogs in 2006. There are now many more of these parks around the country, but owners often complain they are too far away and not well designed. Irene Wu has the details.
Running on the grass, playing with other dogs, and being able to do so freely. The dog park is a great place for owners to take their pets for some exercise. But many of these parks can be hard to get to, and some don't offer much shade from the daytime heat. They also might have patches of mud that dogs love to jump in, as every dog owner is all too aware of.
狗进去之后惨不忍睹，洗一次要2000多块，这很伤本哦。
The Taiwan Animal Protection Monitor Network says there are 84 dedicated dog parks in Taiwan, most of them in the country's major cities. The capital Taipei has one park for every 6,600 dogs, but in Tainan in the south, there is just one park for every 77,000 dogs, and many smaller cities don't have any parks at all. The animal rights group would like to see more special areas for dogs in regular parks.
中央是不是能够协助制定一个狗公园专区的管理办法？请地方政府建议他们在公园管理自治条例当中加入狗公园专区。
The group says Australia has one dog park for every 2 communities on average, and parks in Japan have more shade for the dogs and their owners. They feel Taiwan can learn from these other countries to create a better place for the furry friends to roam free. Liang Lian and Irene Wu for TaiwanPlus.
Taiwan's national baseball team has announced its 30-man lineup for the World Baseball Classic. The roster will vie for the title of best baseball team in the world when it competes in the competition next month. I was there at the announcement press conference earlier on Monday to find out more. For a little over a week now, Taiwan's national baseball team has been training for the World Baseball Classic, which is coming up in March. Today, in Taipei City, the team is unveiling its final roster, 30 players who will represent Taiwan when it competes for the title of World's Best Baseball Team. Baseball authorities were not the only VIPs at Monday's press conference. Major government officials and corporate sponsor representatives were there as well. Deputy Legislative Speaker and Commissioner of Taiwan's Professional Baseball League, Cai Qi-chang, made clear why such widespread support is important for Team Taiwan.
我只有简单几句话就是胜利，胜利，胜利啊！我们一定要想办法来在这场比赛里面展现我们所有代表这一次台湾代表中华队的这些选手，我们的拼劲要让国人看到。那希望我们的拼劲能够有很好的成绩，可以带给所有喜欢棒球的朋友。
36 players joined Taiwan's team training at the end of January. But per the tournament's rules, each team can only have 30 people on their roster. Head coach Lin Yueping says he agonized over selections.
在我们昨天晚上跟教练团在选出这30人里面，确实是有点挣扎，那也有点是对还没有入选的，他们正在跟我们集训，也感到希望他们包容我们这次这样的组训。
Team Taiwan will have 14 pitchers, 3 catchers, 8 infielders, and 5 outfielders. There's team captain and award-winning third baseman Wang Weichen. Then there's former Major League pitchers Zheng Renhe, Hu Ziwei, and Wang Weizong. Lending the team a bit of power are fellow former Major Leaguers Zhang Yuchen and Lin Ziwei. There's players who have competed in Japan's baseball league as well. Taiwan is hosting one of the World Baseball Classics group stages, so it's not just about doing well in the competition. The heat is on for these players to perform well on their home turf. Taiwan is currently ranked second in the world in men's baseball behind Japan. Perhaps with a bit of home field magic on their side, this team can go all the way and take the crown. There you have it, Team Taiwan's final lineup. They represent the country's heaviest hitters, the fastest arms, and the country's best hopes of winning a world-class title. Now, the only thing left for these players to do is to keep perfecting their game until they face off against Panama on March 8th. Thank you for watching TaiwanPlus News. Remember to download the TaiwanPlus app for more stories from Taiwan and around the world. I'm Liao. Take care and see you next time.